We can start. Yeah, hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Building Mental Resilience, the Key to Trading Success. And my name is Alex. I'm a psychologist. I'm a founder of Tradefulness. We're organizing the Trading Psychology Conference, and also we're developing the Tradefulness app that helps traders to control their emotions and trade with a high level of discipline. And now I'm thrilled to hold this session with our esteemed guest, Desi Liriano. Desi, thank you for coming here. Thank you for joining. It's a pleasure for us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Alex. For those who don't know me, my name is Desi. I'm the head of Cerulean Mind Academy. I'm a life coach, and also I coach traders to better help them with their emotional stresses and things that come up in trading to give them a proper system to efficiently trade.
Yeah, Desi, you have a lot of students, right? And you trained, you coached like dozens or even hundreds of traders, right?
Yeah, I'd say right now, probably a little over 300 in total.
Wow.
I have some students in here right now. I'm glad they can make it.
Okay, guys, thank you for joining as well. Yeah, let me give some information on the information. Give some information on what we will discuss today. We will dive deep into the psychological needs of traders. We'll try to discuss the insights into building mental resilience. Also, I'll give a short introduction about the Trading Psychology Conference that will held in the beginning of February. And yeah, you can ask any questions in the chat, and we will try to answer them after the main block of this webinar. And also, I want to thank the diamond partner of the Trading Psychology Conference. It's broker earn.eu for supporting the conference and the webinar, and their commitment to empowering traders with cutting-edge tools and resources aligns perfectly with our mission, the mission of Tradefulness and the mission of the all the trading coaches, I suppose, who wants traders to trade consciously. So, Daisy, let's start by exploring the key psychological challenges traders face and what they need to overcome these barriers. What do you take on this?
Definitely. So there are many different aspects that we can go down, but I'll try to keep it short since for the time that we have today. But when it comes to traders, there's a lot of different avenues or things that come up for them when they are trading that, can get in the way of the growth that they want. Some of the ones that I'll touch up on today is going to be, having greed and also trading out of a fearful state. I find that even though those two avenues that comes up in traders' journeys, it affects them a lot in a negative way. Let's say in this example, if a trader is greedy, right?
Mhm.
Let's say for an example, they might be up 1,000, 2,000, $3,000 on the trade. And they're like, well, I want a little bit more. And then they'll hold it. And then what ends up happening? They lose everything and then actually end up at zero or even negative and give that money back. So when it comes to having emotional intelligence, I would say when it comes to trading, is super important because you need to really understand that, um, you know, going for these home runs and being greedy, it's not going to help you get to the goal that you want. If you're trying to go for $2,000 every single day, let's say, but you actually end up red every single week, as opposed to just taking the three, $400 or whatever it may be that the market's giving you, so you can slowly build upon on the account and go towards that growth that you want, as opposed to trying to make $1 million overnight, which of course, as we know, is not possible for the most part.
Okay, yeah. And you're absolutely right on describing how it works, how to build the mental resilience, how to resist this behavior.
Yeah, I think definitely having proper expectations when it comes to trading, because a lot of individuals, if they're not new to trading, they might just go on like, the online platforms and social media and see people posting huge, big gains that they think they can do that overnight. It really takes time and really building that skill to reach those levels, right? And understanding that it's not necessarily a comparison that I see a lot of people do. Like, oh, this guy's making 10,000 a day. I want to do that too. But it's like, we all start in our own level, right? You can start with making $30 a day or $50 a day or whatever it may be, subjective to your account size, of course. So, one of the tools that I find that helps traders a lot is really journaling, because we really need to understand. Like, I'm a huge proponent of like collecting data, and everybody that I work with knows this, and I kind of get on them if they don't do it. So, journaling is really going to help us a lot in understanding ourselves and really understanding what works and what doesn't work and where we can improve based on the data that we collect. Like if you find, let's say, well, like I mentioned greed earlier, if you find that you're letting a lot of these winning trades go red, you can explore that and be like, all right, why am I letting these green trades go red? And that dive deeper into it, as opposed to just, well, I'm ending red. Let me just keep on going. But it's like, if you don't really pinpoint whatever the issue may be, the underlying issue, it's just going to be a recycled state that you're going to be in over and over and over.
Mm. Yeah, correct. Yeah, so great. Journaling is a great idea. It's really a beautiful idea, but the majority of traders, they do not journal. What do you think? Why?
Definitely several reasons. From my experiences, even for myself when I first started and those I've worked with, some people either don't know what to journal, they don't know why it's important, or even, how to even get started with it. Like, what data should I be collecting, right? I do enjoy like the app that you guys have, the Tradefulness app, because it kind of gives you, how much you made, and then the AI helps them determine recurring patterns, right? Or things that may be coming up depending on the profile that they put into the system. But ultimately, which with journaling, that I see a lot of traders don't really use because they don't think it's important. But I always ask people this question: what, as an example, there's many different criteria, but let's say for two or three, I'll ask them, when do you make the most money? In the morning or the afternoon? And they're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, you should know. And it's like, all right, what are your best setups? Or what are your worst setups? And they're like, I'm not too sure. So, this is where journaling comes into play, so we can really refine our own process and know ourselves. For me, I only trade the New York morning session. I don't trade in the afternoon. I don't trade pre-market, London, none of that. Because one, I like my sleep, and because that's where my setups appear, right? And I just want to focus and take charge of what works best for me. Some people, it works better for them in the afternoon, or even trading the whole day. Some people that might not work for them because they might have other ventures in their life, or, being on a chart for 8 hours a day can be very, very draining, to say the least.
Yeah, yeah. We can remember the stories of Superman and other superheroes. So they are superheroes only for the limited period of time, not every day, not even every week, maybe. So it's important to know your superhero threats, right? And then to use it during your trading activity, right?
Yeah, definitely. One of the most important things that I've learned in my trading journey, and for those I've helped, is really knowing yourself, right? Like, what works best for you. And this is going to be personalized to everybody. Everybody's a unique individual, which is why I love trading, because you can customize it to you. There's people like, well, I trade for 8 hours a day because these people do it. But it's like, all right, but does this work for you? What works better for you? I'll give you an example. I was talking to somebody in my group earlier, where he has children. So he can't be on for 4 hours straight. He has to kind of navigate trading and being a father at the same time. So in his case, it's like, all right, well, we see that between, let's say, 2 and 3 in the afternoon, that's when you have just you and the chart. Your kids are doing what they're doing with the wife or whatever. So you can focus on trading during that time, because we can see by your results that you trying to juggle being a dad and trading at the same time for more than 4 hours, it's not working.
Hmm.
So just honing in on what does work uniquely to your situation, which of course, it can change over time, but just getting down to what works best for you as an individual.
Okay. And speaking about this example, is it possible to name this kind of trading a consistent trading?
When you say consistent trading, do you mean in the sense of like if the trader consistently trades, or if this is like a recurring pattern?
I mean that it is disciplined and consistent trading. So when I can pay like constant attention to trading activities, what that's what I mean.
In the sense that, just to make sure I'm understanding, that if they do follow, let's say, from only trading from 2 to 3, if that'll, help them be a little more consistent with their trading results?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
absolutely. Because, if you find that you make most of your money between 2 and 3 or 2 and 4 in the afternoon, but you're losing money in the morning, then it's really just eliminating what doesn't work and just only focusing on what does work. Because if somebody's making, let's say, 1,000 a week, but they're giving $600 away in the morning by not following when they're supposed to be trading, you're just moving backwards, in my opinion. Sure, you're still making money, but it's still not going to be to the most efficient level that you can make it, right?
Correct.
So, it's really understanding and getting very, very clear on what works best for you and just sticking to that. And again, the market isn't going anywhere. And I see people get stuck in like, oh, but I have to trade every single day. And I'll have some examples for you later on when we get there. But, you know, if you make your money between 2 and 4, be okay with that, right? Practicing gratefulness and having proper expectations.
Okay.
If you can make what you make at your job in 2 hours, I would be happy with that, right? So uh,
Yeah,
I'll
good.
keep it for now because I can keep on going further into it.
Okay. So, and you named one of the principle, gratefulness. Is it possible to name other principles,
Hey,
for
what you
example,
doing, man?
abundance?
Sound like I hit the TV.
David, there we go.
Okay, I muted
Yeah,
it.
other principles, you know, practicing gratefulness, having the proper expectations, and really being mindful when you're trading, right? Because if we're not trading in a mindful state, it's going to be a little challenging for us to really pinpoint how we're getting in our own ways. Like for me, I noticed that when I would go through my journal before, I'm like, why am I not like usually near market open? I'm not. I lose a lot more than I win, but it's like, all right, why exactly is this happening? So once I went through my journal, I discovered that when I would trade during that time, I wouldn't be fully focused. Like I'll either be distracted or I'll be tired. And I wasn't really mindful of that. So once I had that realization, I'm like, all right, I added a rule where I'm not going to trade when I'm tired. And if I'm distracted, then I'm not going to trade at all because it's not profitable for me and it's not giving me the results that I want.
Mhm.
And now if I'm not, focused or if I'm distracted, then I'm just not even going to bother trading because I'm willingly giving money to the market away by not following the disciplines and the rules that I set upon myself based on what I've learned about myself.
Mhm. And what about the abundance psychology and deficit psychology? Do they influence your trading behavior as well?
Like having an abundance mindset or like a
Yeah.
fearful mindset.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Because like I mentioned, let's say with the abundance mindset, right? As a trader, traders understand that the market is going to provide you opportunities every week, of course, depending how you trade. And they're also going to understand that I should never be desperate enough to try to make a trade every single day if the setup isn't there, because the market will give to me regardless. We just need to wait for it. And on the fearful side, let's say having like a scarcity mindset is like, but I have to trade every single day because if not, I'm not going to make money in X, Y, and Z. But it kind of works in reverse because, you're here trying to force trades and to force money to come to you when the market doesn't work like that. You know, if your setup isn't there and you take the trade just because you think you need to make the money for whatever reason, whatever's going on in the person's life, etc., you're just putting yourself further from your goals, right? If let's say there's in the Monday through Friday, and only 3 out of the days your setup appeared, but the 2 other days your setup didn't appear. So now you're forcing a trade because you think you need to trade and that the market's not going to give you other opportunities in the other days. But realistically, it is. You just have to wait for it, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, having the abundance mindset in the sense that understanding that the market will give me constant opportunities, I just have to show up for them. And also on the scarcity mindset, understanding that, if I trade out of a state of desperation, it's really not going to be suitable for me with the goals that I want because every time trading out of scarcity mindset and forcing trades that aren't even there, it's just putting me further away from what I want, which of course everybody's goal to trading is to make money. And whatever other goals they may have outside of, connected to the trading money, spending time with their family or leaving their job or, whatever it may be.
Mhm. Yeah, and maybe can you share an example of someone who transformed their mindset and achieved success as a trader?
Definitely. I think one of them, is he still in here? Yeah, Kevin's in here. So one thing that I enjoyed with one of my students here is every time we would speak, he would always come to me where he would understand that, well, prior understanding that, we don't need to trade every day, like I just mentioned, right? And he had an idea in the beginning, it's like compared to other people that we need to be on the charts every single day. We need to really just take a trade every day because if not, we're really not going to make money, which of course is far from the truth. And what I enjoyed, he sent me a message a while back where I follow up and I was like, hey, how's your week going? So on and so forth. And he's like, actually, I didn't trade this week because one, I wasn't feeling that well. I was sick. So I just want to take care of myself. And I think self-care is really important because if you're sick, you're not feeling well, it's going to be really hard for you to properly focus and pay attention to what the market is giving. And he's developed that mentality over time. It's like, look, if I'm not 100% here, if I'm not feeling well, that's okay. Because again, the market's going to give me an opportunity when I am feeling better and I can fully be present and focus on what's happening. So I do love when traders really understand that because, like I was mentioning, the market isn't going anywhere. It's going to give you the money that you want. Just really be patient with it, right? And developing the patience. And now, when we speak, it's like, hey, you take any trades today? Nope, nothing was there for me. Or, I was busy with my business or whatever it may be. And coming into it with the proper mentality that if I'm not 100%, then I'm not even going to bother because when I'm not 100%, that's when I start making mistakes and losing money other outside of, if the probability is just against me.
Mhm. Okay, yeah. Speaking about patience, so we've worked with hundreds of traders, and we have some interesting stats to share. And for example, did you know that more than 70% of traders identify emotional discipline as their biggest challenge? How could you comment it?
I didn't know the percentage, but I have definitely seen a lot of individuals with the emotional issue when it comes to their trading. And you asked essentially how they can tackle that to improve it.
Yeah,
Like I mentioned earlier with journaling, it's really understanding yourself, right? Because trading, whether you win or lose a trade, if you took your setup, it shouldn't really invoke, in my opinion, an emotional response that is like really charged to it. Like you get like super happy or super upset because I like to split into two ways, right? Like the trader's mindset and then the human mind, right? Of course, if we're at a job, we get happy when we get a promotion or hey, you're gonna get a raise. So we get happy about that. Or if we don't get a promotion, then we get upset and all these other things. We get emotionally attached to the outcome. But with trading, it's challenging because people or individuals like to bring the human mind to the trading mind or the trading space, right? Which is very dangerous because one, as humans, we like to control things. And trading, we can't control anything but ourselves.
Mhm.
So, if you took a trade and it was your setup and you won or lost, in my opinion, it shouldn't really give you a big emotional charge because you just follow your rules, right? Now, if you lose a trade, and let's say on the negative side, let's say you lose a trade and you get upset or you find yourself getting angry and revenge trading, we need to take a step back and really understand, all right, why am I getting upset when I lost this trade? Like, what does the loss mean to me? Because it's just a losing trade or a winning trade. To the market, it doesn't mean anything. You won, congratulations, or you lost. It is what it is, right? So it's really understanding, going back to the knowing yourself part, is like, why is this trade making me upset? What does it mean to me in what I may be putting onto the market? Let's say an example, um, somebody who may want to leave their job or they may want to support their family. And if they lose a trade, that may make them feel. I'll give you an example of some men that I've worked with and even myself. Generally, in societal roles, a man is a provider and such. And, we go out and work, we make the money, bring to the family, so on and so forth, feed our family, take care of our family,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
In trading, if we're not making money and we're losing money, it kind of brings that societal pressures like, well, if you're not making money here, then you may not be a provider or a man or, whatever thoughts may come up. And it's really understanding that, you know, if you're getting upset because you're losing, because those things are coming up, it's understanding that, my trading results and the outcomes that I'm getting out of my trading is very different to me as a person, right? Like I could take a trade and I could lose it. That doesn't mean that I'm not a provider or that I'm not a man or that I'm not a winner, right? It's just understanding that you just lost the trade, right? Assuming, let's for the sake of the conversation, that you took it as you're supposed to. Now, of course, if you jumped into the trade preemptively because you just wanted to force a trade, we can look at it at a different way as, all right, you lost the trade because you didn't follow your rules. But if you take your trade as you always do and you lost, that doesn't say anything about you as a human being. It just means that you lost a trade. And separating those two is very, very important. And understanding, why you're reacting the way you do, and really working through that and understanding, and telling yourself these things. Hey, it's okay if I lose this trade. This doesn't mean that I'm a loser or that I'm not this or that I'm not that. I simply just lost a trade, and that's okay. Understanding that it is absolutely okay to lose trades. It doesn't reflect on you as a human being and your character.
Okay. Yeah. So, it doesn't. You are okay. The market is okay. Everything is okay. Other traders are okay. It doesn't depends on your results. So you need to just to go further and to trade, to understand your mistakes and to trade in a more clever way. Right?
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's great. Do you have any can you tell us maybe about some instrument you used during your trading activity to cope with some difficult emotions as great as fear? What do you use yourself?
Definitely. So for me, I like to practice breathing exercises, and preferably for those who do breathing exercises, close your eyes and like step away from your screen, because if you're like still looking at the stimulus, it's going to be a little challenging to come
Mm.
down from that emotional state. So I like to walk over my computer, go outside to my patio and just start breathing for a few minutes until I come back to a relaxed state. Because if we're trading in an excited state or in a fearful state, it could be damaging to our trading. And even if I'm actively trading, I'll give you an example that happens to me sometime. I'm human, I'm not perfect. I wish I was, but that's not how life works, unfortunately. So if I'm in a trade and I get in as I'm supposed to, but it's taking a little longer to hit the target as compared to the other times. I might start getting like a little nervous or like a little anxious. So I'm like, all right, I already know that if I stay here, I'm gonna want to mess with the trade and like, let me move my stop loss a little earlier, or let me just take some profit off right now. But it's like nothing has changed besides my state of being because what I'm interpreting is happening. When in reality, the setup is just still playing out. So I'll get up, go outside, do my practices, and then once I'm relaxed and understand, hey, it's just you and I'm back to a neutral state, then I'll come back and sit on the chart and just wait. Because that's your only job as a trader. Once you get into the trade, just wait. You did your job already. Go do something else if you want to.
Mm.
Another, go ahead.
It's interesting. How much time does it take for you to get this calm state of mind?
So most times anywhere between like 5 or 10 minutes, sometimes less.
You're a professional. That's why, because for me it's more difficult.
Yeah, it definitely takes time. Like I've been doing this for a long time, and I worked with um when I was working with Randy Howell, he's like a trader psychologist. He really helped me a lot. And from what he says, like on average, it takes like the human state to like an hour for the emotions to come down. Of course, with the breathing practices or whatever practice you have, it can bring that down a lot. Sometimes I might have to go for like a whole walk for like 20, 30 minutes and then come back. So I do enjoy when I can bring myself down within 10 minutes, which is great. Um, so, breathing practices definitely help a lot. One really, really, really good one that I've learned recently, I've learned from a book. It's called Change Your Mind by R.J. Spina. He gives his students a practice where they keep a journal with them, like a small one that you can just keep with you everywhere. And every time a thought comes up, you write it down and then you question that. And then you keep on going down the list of it's like, all right, to get to the root cause of what's happening. And then you'd be like, oh, I'm just upset because this thing. Well, that's okay because, this really doesn't matter right now.
Okay.
So that practice helps a lot, writing it down and kind of getting your thoughts out on paper. Because if you kind of keep it internal, it's not really going to release itself, right? So that practice definitely helps a lot alongside the breathing practices and just removing the stimulus. Turn your screen off if you need to. Walk away. Don't look at the screen because staring at the screen is not going to do anything for you and to make the trade go faster or slower.
Yeah, correct. And one more moment, I want to underline that it's okay to take pauses during your trading sessions. It's very useful to take pauses if you feel like some extreme emotions. So
Yeah,
it's absolutely okay.
100%. Because, we're human at the end of the day, right? And we need to practice self-care. And sometimes we need to practice that while we're trading, which again is perfectly fine. And it's really asking yourself, if I stay here in this state, is it going to be beneficial for my trading or is it going to be detrimental to my trading? If it's detrimental, then you already know what you need to do. Go for a walk, or close the screen, turn off the charts, do your breathing practice or whatever practices the individual might have. And then once you're back in that neutral state, then we can come back and, get on the charts.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Profound idea. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Okay, yeah. So Desi, you will be joining at the Trading Psychology Conference with the speech. Well, can you name the topic and what you will be speaking about at the
Yeah.
conference?
So I'll be speaking more on building your trading system, and I'll provide you guys mine as an example as well. And the trading system is going to really consist of non-negotiables, so things that must be done before you even start trading. Going to be going over trading rules, your risk management guidelines, and your playbook to give you some examples. Because all those components, when it comes to your trading system, are going to be key, right? You can have your rules, but if you don't know what setups to take, then you kind of be shooting in the dark when you actually are taking trades. Or if you have rules, but you don't have like a proper guideline for your risk management, it's going to be challenging for you to understand when should I be getting out of this trade? How much should I be risking? Things like that.
Hmm.
So I'll be going over mine and giving you guys a blueprint on how you can develop yours and really giving you step-by-step guides on best practices for your trading.
Thank you so much. It would be very interesting and very useful to take this knowledge during the conference. And let me shortly introduce the conference. So it will take part in on February from the 4th to 6th February 2025. It will be online, absolutely online. So it's easy for everyone to join it. It is for traders, it is for experts from the field of psychology, from the field of trading and financial markets. And our mission is to give knowledges, to give cases to use during the trading. So we have a number of speakers already confirmed. It's Desi himself, one of our major speakers. Also, Agnieszka Wood, Arthur Udris, Guy Levy, and Singh will join us as well. So all these guys, they will give the audience really useful tips, really useful practices and ideas to use during the trading session. Yeah, so actually, you can join the conference now. You can register at our website, and I also want to thank again EarnEU, our diamond partner. Because of this company, this conference is possible. So yeah, now we can go to the Q&A session. Guys, if you have any questions, you can ask them in the chat. I see that only some comments are there, right? So Isaiah is emotional, I see. So okay, maybe you have any questions to me or to Desi. We will be glad to answer them.
No judgment at all. Whatever questions you guys want to ask, put it in the chat. We're here to help.
Or maybe you can ask them loudly. Just you need to unmute your microphone. It's also possible.
Yep, you can come off of mute if you guys like as well.
Well, so while we are waiting for questions, I have another one for you, Desi. So what is the best way to recover from a significant trading loss? What is your idea?
It's really understanding what was the cause of the significant loss. Because if I hear of a trader having a big loss, that tells me different things. It's like, were you oversizing? Or were you following your rules? Or were you potentially even gambling? Because your risk should be defined before you ever get into a trade. And if it's a loss that's bigger than you would normally take, you have to ask yourself, all right, why did I take this loss? And what can I learn from this so I can avoid it in the future? Is it something going on with my trading? Is it something going on with my outside life that may be affecting my trading? Many different avenues. I'll give you an example of one of my biggest losses, which I'll never forget. It was in 2021, I believe it was February, and I had what's called what's the word? The ego confidence, right? So it's like when I'm winning a lot of trades, so I think I'm unstoppable. I could do whatever I want. I'm the market,
You're right.
and the market will humble you very, very quickly. So to give some numbers, I was using like $1,000 position sizes at the time. I started trading maybe a half a year prior to that. And I was using $1,000 position size, following the risk guidelines that I set for myself. And then I was like, well, I've been winning for the last 3, 4 months in a row, and the last 10 trades, 15 trades, one in a row. I'm just gonna use more so I can make more money. So one, already breaking my rules and not following my risk management guidelines. So I went from $1,000 positions to $4,000 positions. And mentally, I was excited because I would be making more money, but I wasn't ready mentally for the loss when it would go against me. Because during that time, I was limiting my risk to about $300 or so per trade. And this trade here, even being 10% down, I'll be down $400. So when I came back down, I was like, well, I'm only down 10%. I still have 7 more months. It was an options trade. I have 7 more months until the contract expires. I have time. And when it went 20% down, I was like, oof, this hurts, but I don't want to take an $800 loss. But I was like, I have time. I can wait. And I did that until the very end. And I took a 97% loss. I think it was like 4,200, the biggest loss I took. And that messed me up for a long time. It was like 6 months it took me to recover from that mentally. And, that's why I always tell people the importance. You need to follow your rules and never marry a trade because, if I just took my $400 loss, I could just went to another one that would have been better and, reduce my size because I was not ready mentally or emotionally for that trade. And I instead became stubborn and started hoping for it to reverse, which got me into more trouble when I could have just been fine with the $400 loss.
What's an important experience you are sharing now? So thank you so much. And maybe the last question from my side. So, what do you think? Is trading for everyone?
Um, Great question. Sometimes I battle with this answer. Like, is it for everyone? I think for me, I think it's for everyone in specific points in their lives, in the sense that it may not be for an individual right now in their life. It might be better for them later on. I'll give you an example. Individuals who may not be financially stable, I believe that trading is not for them right now because you're putting yourself at a disadvantage where, it's going to make it more challenging mentally for you because if you're trading with money that you can't afford to lose, you're going to be trading out of a desperation state where if you're financially stable and you learn trading the proper routes and expectations, building your system, etc., it'll be easier for you because you're not trading out of the desperation state or you're not like panicking if a trade might go against you or you're like, I need this trade to win because I need to pay my rent. Like you should never, ever, ever trade under those conditions at all. So is trading for everybody? Yes or no? I think it's just situational where, if you're not in a good spot mentally or financially, I believe trading is definitely not for you, at least not right now until you get your life in order. Same thing with, if you are in a good spot, then yeah, hey, definitely, try trading, see if it works for you. My biggest thing, I took after that big loss, that's when I met my life coach and he helped me get my life in order because I realized that a lot of things in my outside life was affecting my trading in a negative way. So until I got all that in order and I got proper structure, then it reflected back on my trading when I started doing better. So if you are, anybody listen to this, if you are in a place that you may not be mentally there or financially, definitely get your life in order because we want to set ourselves up for success with anything that we do in life, right? And trading is one of the biggest challenges because it's really just you against yourself. The market is just the market, right? It's neutral.
Okay, life first, trading second, right?
Exactly. Life always, always first. Trading is not
Okay.
going to go anywhere.
Okay, we have a reply from Asaya. He writes about his experience and his last trade this morning, and he had a stop, and yeah, he's still upset about it, and emotionally, it's difficult for him to get back from this state of mind. What could you recommend?
So, question for you, Isaiah, with the downtrend that you've been in, the setups that you've been taking, have they been your absolute best ones, or have you been forcing trades?
Says, could you reply to Desi, please?
They've been in my playbook. I don't know if they're exactly the best. I need to go back and look at them. But they have been in my playbook, and just the fact that I've been losing, yeah, it's kind of taking a toll a little bit.
And for the trades that you've been taking, in the sense that as you and I have spoken before on this, um, have there been any that you may have forced that weren't in the playbook that may not have been the best?
Going back and looking at what we discussed as far as setup, displacement, all that good stuff, I can see now. Some of them weren't the best,
Mhm.
obviously, because they didn't work out too. But I don't think they were forced, honestly. No, I don't think they were forced. I think my mindset was just opposite of what the market was at that time. So yeah, it's a little tough mentally getting over it.
Definitely. And like we were talking before, getting a few days off just to clear your mind and really doing your best to let go of those things. I mean, like we mentioned by journaling, it's always good to put down your thoughts on paper, and I always recommend physically writing it down. Don't kind of just put it on your phone, because when we physically write things down, it makes it easier for us to really have a more intimate moment with ourselves and really start thinking more critically than, I'm upset because of this trade or whatever may have happened. It just makes it easier and more efficient when we do physically write it down. For the trade this morning that we spoke about earlier, when we were trading, was it the shooter trade or the orb trade that got you upset?
It was a combination of both because I went in with small size, two contracts on that MES 15-minute order, two down. I watched it play out. I gave myself to the highs and I rejected on the highs with that 5-minute shooter down. It gave me the confidence to go in and add another two. So I added two at that break of 16, and not even a second later, it just reversed and just took me out. And I was like, wow, that was that was yeah, emotionally draining, honestly.
Yeah, it could definitely be draining and kind of discouraging, especially I saw the trade earlier as well with you, especially when it reverses like that on you, right? Um,
Oh
in
yeah,
moment,
definitely. Because watching the first 5-minute candle play out and saying to myself, hey, don't jump in, wait for the candle to close, let it finish the thing. It finished, it shot down, it closed red, next candle opened up. I set my stop buy limit or for the sell limit, took it, and as soon as you took it, it just reversed, and it was like, holy moly. All right, well, that didn't work out. Kind of stressful, kind of emotional about it. I mean, I had the stop still in place, so that worked out, kept me from losing too much. But yeah, it locked me out for the day because, again, set up those locks where if I lose even more than 500, I'm done for the day. So yeah, the setups are there, the limits and the stops are there to keep me from going on tilt. But still, after taking a long break, coming back to that, yeah, it definitely is emotional.
and in these moments, it's always important. Like if you took your setups as you took it, do your best not to take it personally or get too invested into it. Granted, having being in a state of drawdown for consecutive days or weeks can definitely be challenging to overcome. And, sometimes that's how the market reacts, right? In August, I think I was red for a week or two straight, and I took my setups as I always did. But the market just didn't want to comply based on, whatever was happening at the time. Um, it's really understanding and remembering, let's just continue taking our setups as we have them laid out. Sometimes the market is going to agree with us, and sometimes it isn't. And that's okay. Nothing is 100% when it comes to trading. And, just taking some time off and, clearing your head, I think will help you. Of course, we can talk a little more detail about setups since the verbiage may not be universal for everybody in here watching, but we'll definitely talk more on that.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's an example of Desi's session with a real case, and it's beautiful. Thank you so much, Daisy. And we also have another question. Does psychology work on any market, for example, forex, stock, crypto, etc., or there is some difference in psychology approaches on this
I
market?
think there isn't necessarily any difference in the psychology that needs to be brought towards the different markets. I kind of just see the market as a whole in the sense that whether you trade, stocks, futures, crypto, forex, etc., we still need to bring the same mentality to it, right? So whether I'm trading forex or futures or really whatever it is that you're doing, I still need to bring the same mentality. Like if I'm trading options today as opposed to futures, I'm still going to tell myself what I tell myself every day. My only job today is to follow my rules, my disciplines, and my setups, and that's it. Whatever happens outside of that is not my control. That is up to the market. But I did what I'm supposed to do. So psychology to me is just universal with any market that you're in. So that'll be my opinion on it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Daisy. So, yeah, actually, that's it, I suppose. We don't have any question anymore. So, thank you so much for joining us. It was a great adventure here, and a lot of insights we received from your thoughts, Daisy, and your words. Please check our resources at Tradefulness. Please check Daisy's programs. As I understand, you are launching a new course. Yeah, right. At Cerulean Mind Academy, and yeah, it's a great thing to learn more from the one of the top experts in these fields. And let's build our trading success together. Thank you for joining us today. Stay resilient, stay focused, and we'll see you at the conference in February. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you guys for having me. I'll see you guys. Take care.
Take care. Thank you, Daisy.